So, hello everyone. Welcome to IRC Esports Tier 3 round 14, which is at Brazil. Again, a very interesting track and known for producing some great races. I think we have our drivers running into the quali, so let's quickly jump onto the track guide first and then we'll see the hot lap so that we can quickly go into the quali session. The track, it's a 2.6 miles long track with 15 turns and 2 DRS zones, which are very useful in overtaking. And obviously, there will be a lot of position changes. And again, as elevation changes are there, we can see drivers losing their cars. So it's gonna be difficult for the drivers. But now it's time to jump into the hot lap.
Welcome to IRC Esports, to a hot lap of Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache with Ashray. Heading into the Senna SS break as late as possible. Keep a tight line through turn 1 to get a good launch into turn 2. Take turn 3 completely flat out while eating as much of the inside curb as possible. Into the DRS zone for one of the few overtaking zones in the circuit. For turn 4 break, just after the 100-meter board, take the curb on the apex as well as the exit as much as possible without unsettling a car. Now approaching turns 6 and 7, we're going through this section which utilizes all the downforce of the car's setup. Take as much of the inside curbs while controlling your throttle inputs. Turn 8 is a late apex right-hander followed by the slow sweeping left-hander of turn 9. It's almost a double apex turn, but you can experiment with a few lines here. Turn 10 is arguably the toughest braking zone in the circuit. Modulating a brake pedal here will be crucial to avoid locking up your way into the grass. Turn 11 is flat out if a tight line is maintained throughout. Now approaching turn 12, as I'd like to call it, the Glock corner. This corner could make or break your race as it leads to arguably the most crucial overtaking zone in the track. Turns 13 and 14 are completely flat, DRS open just after 14. Maintain a tight line for 15 and across the finish line for a hot lap of this absolutely gorgeous circuit.
That was a really amazing hot lap from our one and only Ashray, also called as Starmax Lord. I think we can quickly jump into the quali session to see what's happening in the race. And because of the eagerness to show you guys a quali session and you might not miss any experience, I literally forgot to introduce to the people in the commentary box today. Today for the commentary, it's me, Tanish, your one and only, who is joined by Sai, who is streaming the session today. So, yep, as we are in, again, it's a standard format today, which is 18-minute quali and a 50% race. So, again, 50% race, a lot of strategy options possible. And yep, we can see a lot of position changes in the race because safety car plays a major role on this track, and literally it can change the races for a lot of drivers. We have very vast experiences from our previous races, like we have our IRC Tier 2 Season 4 where it was a photo finish and the Constructor Championship was decided at the final lap. Again, I would just say it was me who was battling in the Ferrari with the guys in the Renault. And yep, I was unable to make Ferrari win the championship, which obviously felt bad. But yep, it was an amazing session. And Brazil, again, it's always there to produce some immense racing and photo finishes. Like, I think this track is very popular for having photo finishes in the race sessions, in IRC at least. So maybe we can get one more today, so who knows. As of now, it's 14 minutes remaining in quali, and we have Wolf Imperia, who is on pole with a lap time of 186, who's followed, okay, Lean Sipper it is, who's on pole, who displaces Wolf Imperia with a lap time of 186. Wolf Imperia is still a 10th down on him, but let's see, it's a lot of time is left in the session and anything can happen. Right now, I am joined by 8 Cylinders. Again, I think he is one of an amazing commentators in IRC. So 8 Cyl, can you hear me? Yep, I'm doing good. What about you, sir?
Yeah, I'm a little tired, but ready to go for tier 3.
Sure, I don't think tier 3 is something that will keep you tired. I mean, it's obviously, it's there for producing some, interesting races. So I think it can, just pull away your tiredness just by the looks of it.
Yeah, looking forward to something along those lines. Tier 3 is definitely, Tier 2 and Tier 3 have definitely been the most entertaining tiers so far this season. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting session. Brazil is also one of those tracks, like you were mentioning, that always produces some great racing, close finishes. So again, like you, I'm looking forward to an exciting evening of racing.
Yep, and we have not an influencer who is leading the championship as of now, and with Destroyer Track not completing the previous race, I think he has a very, very good lead over him. So it looks like he'll soon wrap up the championship. I don't think there is anyone who can displace him in the championship. So I think it will pretty much go to Norton Influencer. Any comments on this driver this whole season? How do you think about him?
Yeah, he's been doing well. He's managed to consistently finish in the top 5, top 3, getting wins. So, I mean, you don't accrue 250 plus points in a season without doing well. It's not possible. So, yeah, he's been having an impressive season. I would say we've been disappointed a little bit by the other drivers not being able to put up as much of a fight. But again, they say in F1 that consistency is key. So, yeah, I mean, if he does get the championship wrapped up in the next few races, it's going to be a huge achievement for him and a huge achievement for his teammates as well, as they probably helped him out a lot along the way. So, yeah, good times for McLaren and not an influencer.
Yep, I agree with you. And it's also one more saying that, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So races are won over the course of time, not just in one lap or, just quali sessions. So you have to be consistent throughout every possible session that you are doing. So, yep, it's not an easy task, even no matter which tier you are in. It's always a difficult task. And consistency proves if you are consistent, then obviously you can win the championship. So, yep.
I don't wish to impose the commentator's curse of dreams, but maybe we could see not an influencer's lead slip up a little bit in these final few races. Maybe we see Destroyer Track close the gap a little bit. He's not. I don't know if he's participating in races. I think it's unfortunate because he would have put up a good fight. He's definitely a guy with a lot of racecraft, a lot of race pace as well. So he definitely would have been there had he. Well, he definitely would have been in the top 3, in the top 5 had he been in the race today, was what I was trying to say. But it is unfortunate. Are we expecting him or has he not racing tonight?
I mean, by the looks of the current situation, I don't think he'll be racing for this race as well as the final one, which is after this. So, yep, there is pretty much no one who can challenge in terms of points, like not an influencer. So it's pretty much for him now to, just not mess up, because there's one more driver in P3, but it's still far. So until he, not an influencer, manages to score some points, it's fine for him with the championship.
I mean, E-Dog is almost 100 points back. So chances of him closing the gap are slim, I would say. I wouldn't say slim to none, but I'd definitely say it's slim. I think it definitely would have been a 2-horse race between Track and not an influencer, but because of Track's absence, as you say, it does become a 1-horse race. Although the fact that he's pretty much got the championship wrapped up with 2 races to go and it doesn't have a direct competitor means that he may just choose to just have fun and just take it easy and just get the car to the finish line, which means that other drivers have an opportunity to pick up some race wins. And we're seeing some drivers right now pushing hard in quali. Ritesh, Vinay, Dean Slipper, all with good times. Quali is still not over, but they're setting the pace for now.
Yep, as we see Pathogen, who is going purple sector 1 as of now and is about to finish the sector 2 of the lap. Let's see what he's doing. I think he's going, the lap is okay, it doesn't look that good, but yep, only 2/10 away, which is still a lot on a track like this, which is not very long. So let's see, he's going through the final straight, only one more corner, which is turn 15. Let's see what lap he can get in. It looks like a pretty clean lap till now. Let's see what's the time. And it's only P8 with a 18954. I think he lost some time in the final corner there. So, yep.
That was a good lap there from Pathogen, but if we can switch to the interval rather than the lap time, you'll see that the top 8 or top 9 drivers are separated by just over 3/10, which is an insane level of competition right now. Yeah, you can see all the way down to P8 is separated by just 3/10. So every single 10, every half a 10, every corner exit matters right now. If you want to get pole position, you really do have to nail that lap and can't leave anything on the table right now, as it seems. As Vinay is 1,000th slower than Ritesh. I just noticed he's 0.001 off, the slightest of margins. So yeah, everything to play for here in quali, and it's going to be a good one. The race, I mean, quali is also going to be good, but the race is going to be very evenly matched, is my thought.
Yep, I agree with you. And Swagger Turbo, who just displaces Lean Sipper with a lap time which is faster than 2/10 from Lean Sipper. So yep, again, I still think there's a lot of time in the bag of each driver. But like you said, the competition will be very close on this track, and even 3-4 tenths would feel like how far you are compared to a driver on top. So anything can happen, and again, I'm really looking forward for this race. So yep, and I'm kind of vouching for not an influencer again to win this one, like my favorite driver to win this race. But I won't be surprised if he'll try to just try last to first challenge just to enjoy the race more, just to enjoy that overtaking, because again, there are a lot of overtaking opportunities on this track, and it's always fun to come back from the last, like Hamilton did in 2021.
Absolutely, absolutely. With 7 minutes left in quali, Swagger Turbo has imposed himself on the session. He's now on provisional pole with a lap time of it's looking very funny. But the important part is he's established quite a large margin over Dean Sipper. He's nearly 2 tenths clear of the Williams driver. So a little bit of a catch-up game for everyone else. I think it's a 108.285 from Swagger. So really impressive lap. Almost into the 107. So really, really good qualifying session so far from everybody. Again, down to P10 separated by 6 tenths. So it's very, very tight. And it really does leave that pole position open to anyone as long as they can get a lap hooked up. So Billy Butcher here on his outlap. Let's see if the McLaren driver can impose himself a little bit more on the top 3.
Yep, I would say till the time that was really running. I don't know what happened there. But yep, I should really say that till the time not an influencer puts a very fast lap, it always like the pole position is open for anyone. But yeah, another driver to watch out for today is Vinay. Like I have seen him not able to get good results from past races. Obviously putting his effort to get those, but again, failing to do so, whether it's unfortunate incidents or anything. But yeah, this time it looks like he's showing some decent pace. And I won't be surprised if we get back some good points or even a podium today.
Yep, absolutely. As we mentioned earlier, with the championship battle almost wrapped up, you could see not an influencer take a back seat, and that allows the likes of Vinay and Ritesh to really get themselves involved in this race. They might look to get maximum points. So, wonder what the constructors' championship is looking like. Oh, it's pretty close actually. It's 3 teams separated by about 60 points, so it's all to play for McLaren, Aston Martin, and Williams. If they can impose themselves and get a good points haul this weekend, that could set themselves up very, very nicely for the final race. But it'll all depend on how much of a margin not an influencer and Billy Butcher can open up on the rest of the team today. So, the one championship might be almost in the bag, but the other one is still very much up for grabs.
Yep, last race gonna be the battle for that particular championship, which is WCC in this tier. So it's like it's not decided till it's done. So the drivers will have to wait for the final results. You can't just predict that okay, it's done, then there's no one to catch to us. So yep, as we see McLarens who were involved in some small racing there. I'm not sure if it was some kind of DRS or slipstream help, or I don't know, but yep, there was some kind of racing there, and now the different driver overtakes. So I'm not sure what exactly is happening there. Any idea? Itzel?
I think not an influencer just tried to give Billy as much of a slipstream as he could down the massive back straight that leads into the pit straight. It's a massive, massive section. That whole sector 3 is basically just a massive straight. So you can gain a lot of time through there, especially with a slipstream. So just a little bit of a team game going on there between the two. Obviously, one championship is almost in the bag. So they're just trying to prioritize each other's importance in quali. So we saw Billy Butcher getting a huge tow, and then they swap places, and then influencers now on a lap. So he's got some time to set a lap, so he's probably just trying to help out his teammate. I think that was what was happening there.
Yep, it looked pretty much like that. As of now, E-Dog, we are seeing E-Dog who is slowing down. I think he's letting a fast driver pass who is on a lap. Yep, he was doing the same. And right now AKQ, who looks like on a fast lap, going personal best in sector 1, which is still 6 cents off. Personal best sector 2, 2 seconds off. I'm not sure if it's just a cooldown lap or what, but it doesn't look fast enough to get him up to P12 at least. I don't think he can be the driver in P12 also. So
I think that was a cooldown lap because his ERS was at 90% when he came through the final corner. So now he's going to be winding up for a lap because the DRS is on. And his ERS is on, so his battery is running down. So that was a cooldown lap or a recharge lap, if you will. Getting a nice little go here from the car ahead. That's a McLaren up ahead. It's not an influencer actually. The Billy Butcher is in the pits, so hopefully they aren't impeding each other and stepping over each other's toes as AKQ does go purple in sector 1 as per our telemetry. So this might be a good lap, assuming not an influencer gets out of the way as soon as possible. Can we go on board influencer and see if he's on a push lap? I don't think so. I don't think he's on a push lap as far as I know, because he's yellow in sector 1. So as far as I know, he's holding up the driver behind him, which is unfortunate. How much has that cost him? 5/10 for AKQ is down. He's lost almost half a second in sector 2. He will, however, get a monster tow on the back straight here, coming through the final few corners. Pretty much flat at this point anyway, down to the line. This is going to be a mega tow, but it's only enough for P9. So unfortunate for AKQ, because it did seem like he was on a very good lap. That sector 1 was promising.
I mean, I would just have to say that it just shows how small the margins are on this track. Even looking at that lap, it looked so clean, but still it was 5/10 off, and he's only P9. So the competition is very close, and a very small mistake on this lap can cost you a lot of positions. You really have to be on the edge to be somewhere on the top on this track, and again, it's not an easy task. Right now, it's Lean Sipper who is trying to get a lap time in, going personal best in both the sectors. Let's see what lap time he can manage as he's going through the final straight, and we'll be soon crossing the start finish line and we'll get one time on the leaderboard. Let's see what it is. Can he improve? Can he not? Yep, he does, and goes pole by 2/200ths of a second. How was that lap from Lean Sipper itself?
Interested me was the fact that he didn't get a single purple sector on that lap. According to our telemetry, he was up on his personal best in all 3 sectors, but I feel like he did a George Russell Hungary last year. He's gotten the fastest lap without really going fastest in any particular sector. He's just managed to improve on his personal best, and that was enough, which means that other drivers in the top 3 or top 4 each have one personal sector, each have a purple sector each. So yeah, good lap there from Lean Sipper. I wasn't expecting him to go P1. Definitely caught me off guard. But that just shows that the margins are pretty tight. And, everyone potentially has strong parts of the track where they're better than others. So it's going to be very, very challenging for those front few drivers to open up gap in the race, because they're all going to be on pretty much equal pace as far as I know.
Yep, it will be. And right now, I think quali is over, and everyone will be finishing their final few laps, and not few laps, I should just final lap and just try to get the best possible time on the leaderboard. What I am seeing is not an influencer still hasn't got any fast time on the leaderboard. Did he hear me and trying to replicate that last to first challenge on this track? I mean, he has won the championship, so he can just enjoy himself, And again, this track with a lot of overtaking opportunities, it's gonna be a fun way to just keep overtaking the drivers, and he might just finish on the top.
At the end there was just improving. E-Dog improved a little bit on his personal best, but wasn't enough for P3. He remains P4, and that's the end of quali. Quali really went by very quickly, and that was because all these guys are super competitive and raring to go. So Lean Sipper picks up pole for Williams. That's not something you hear in real life, so savor it while you can, lads. A pole position for Williams, for Lean Sipper. Great lap as well. Swagger Turbo P2, Ritesh P3, E-Dog P4, Satvik Reddy P5. I believe it was Vinay P6, Parthisan P7, Billy Butcher ultimately unable to improve on his time after trying so many times. Wolf Imperia P9 and AKQ 10, Sandeep Maridu, Mr. Raut, not an influencer, not setting a great lap at all, and Mohan MR9 not setting a lap at all. So yeah, that's a great for tonight in Tier 3. And what are your expectations for the race, Tanish?
Well, the first thing I should say is I'm hoping for a really interesting race. But yeah, what I'm expecting is strategy will play a major role in the race today, because it's a 36 lap race, and it's raining in the race. So yep, it's gonna spice things up, and I'm really expecting a few incidents as well, because it's sometimes very difficult to hold the car through those fast sections. in this rain. And again, yep, it's all up to the drivers on how they can manage their race pace and keep the car on track without any issues. So, yep, I am expecting not an influencer to finish on top three spots. At least that's my only call as of now. But yeah, anything can happen. So, looking forward to it.
Uh, I wasn't there at the time of the weather forecast, so we couldn't have possibly predicted. I couldn't have possibly predicted this rain, but as you can see, the standard ceremony by all the pit crews, all doing a T pose before the race. This is something that we see in every single IRC league race and social race. It's just the virtue of a great game here from EA Sports. Gotta love their amazing development. But yeah, some people just getting disconnected from the server right at the last minute at the end of qualifying. So we'll try to get those people in and get the race started soon. With Lean Sipper on pole, I believe his teammate is P4. So Williams is in a good position. If Edog can get a really good start, he might end up with P3 or P2 by the time they get through turn 3, because it's going to be a little side by side until for the first few corners. But then after that, we could see Lean Sipper and Edog potentially P1 and 2. Hopefully, I haven't jinxed them, touch wood. But that could be an interesting narrative to keep an eye on at the race start to see if the Williams boys can get a really good start, because a maximum points haul for them might just keep them in the WCC race.
Yep. I mean, being honest, see, tier 3 is something that you really don't expect a lot of things to happen, and they do happen. And this tier is really famous for it, and literally in every possible race. So, yep, I won't be surprised if we see anything that we don't expect. So, I'm really looking forward to it, and let's see what we can get on our hands in the race today. As of now, we are still trying to get a few drivers back in who are disconnected. I'm not exactly sure what's the issue, but again, it's EA. We can't really expect anything good from them. So I really don't know what to say.
I believe Swagger Turbo is the driver that's facing a little bit of grief from the game right now.
Yep.
But the invite has been sent. They're not really going to wait for him to return. You can see the Merc on the front row that has been posted out. It's 5 lights. Away we go. And yeah, there we go. The AI gets an amazing start there. Unfortunate for Lean Sipper. He's gone on the grass actually. That might not be ideal for him. He's run very wide as a result of that. He's misjudged his braking through turn 1. And that's it seemed like both the Haas's, no, one of the Haas's and one of the Alfa Romeos, that's Ritesh and Satvik making contact. It's almost 3 wide as they come down to turn 1. The AI of Swagger Turbo has gotten a good start predictably, but Lean Sipper has managed to recover. He didn't cut the corner, it seems like, or didn't gain much time, but Williams are P2 and 3. Swagger is P1, but it won't be for long. He'll probably have to receive the position to avoid a penalty later on. But Vinay putting a lot of pressure on Edog almost immediately. Quite a few position changes in the top 10. Oh, that's a Williams losing the car. That's Vinay. I was just saying that he was on the back of Edog and he's lost the car and dropped to P6 behind Wolf Imperia. And he might be under attack here from AKQ as well, as he tries to go around the outside of the Alpine but ends up going down the inside. There's an Alfa Romeo there tangling as well. 3 drivers going side by side through turn 8. This is extremely tight. Raising the margins are close, but they all managed to keep it on track. AKQ remains P8, stays behind Vinay. Satvik goes from P5 down to P9 and has made contact with Parthojan. It seems like they both dropped to the back of the grid. This has not been a good opening lap for Satvik, but it has been a very good opening lap for the Williams drivers, and that's Mr. Raut, who's retired from the session, and that's a safety car, it seems like. Yellow flags in all 3 sectors.
Yep, it is a safety car, as I see one yellow car coming out of the pits. And again, I think the drivers really overestimated the grip they would have on the start with this wet conditions. And there are a lot of bold moves, I should say, which should not happen so early in the race. Drivers should start taking it a bit cautiously at the start. Like we saw Ritesh, I think he was trying a very cheeky move when they were going 3 wide through turn 10, if I'm not wrong. So yep, they should take it a bit cautiously. And again, they didn't do it, and we are seeing incident already. So as of now, Satvik Reddy, who got involved in an incident with Parthojan, has pitted to come out on new wing maybe. I'm not sure if it's just the wing or the tire change as well. But yep, he has changed his tire to new Inters. and is back onto the racetrack with safety car waiting to catch the leader. So,
Ooh,
I
that's a good-looking safety car, huh? That Aston Martin. It is a
yep, it
handsome vehicle.
surely is. What are your comments basically? Does it look better than the Mercedes AMG as well, or it's
Oh,
just a
by
beautiful looking
far.
car in itself?
By far, by far. It's better than the Merc, but after the comments that Max made a few seasons ago, where he's like it's 20 seconds slower than the Merc, I don't know how true that statement is. They both they both have the same engine and the same power figures, so they should be equal in performance. They're both in GT4 spec, if you will, in airports. But I digress. Ultimately, it just matters which one looks better. The Aston Martin looks so much better than the Merc. Um, and it's green as well. British racing green is a lovely shade of green. Swagger is back. Might be gone to go on board Swagger. He's back in the lobby. He will probably have to give the position to Lean Sipper at some point. Obviously, he can't be blamed for the disconnection that he had, but he did get an AI start, and the AI start is very, very overpowered on this game. Basically, you get perfect traction off the line. So it's not ideal for Lean Sipper, who also messed up going through turn one. So ultimately, I think it works out to what the order is right now. Would you agree, Tavish?
Well, I would just say it's up to the stewards, but I should say, like, I don't think it was intentional from Swagger Turbo when he got disconnected, because he was trying to rejoin but just wasn't able to because of game issues. So I would still say this, like, it just stay like what it is right now, and there should not be any position exchange because of the AI start and all. Because I really feel like it would be unfair to Swagger Turbo if he has to do it, because it was not his fault when he got disconnected and it was just game messing up with him. I would still say it just stays like this and the race goes on, because again, this track is good enough for overtaking, and the best thing is drivers enjoy being in P2 than P1, because the slipstream, okay, DRS effect would not be there, but the slipstream effect is so strong that it just makes it easier for the driver running behind to overtake you. And sometimes the slipstream of the driver in front, who is slightly faster than you, can help you run away from the drivers behind. So if I was in position of Lean Zipper, I would be fine with it and would like to report it to the stewards about Swagger Turbo AI start. That's just my opinion on this.
I mean, ultimately, he lost a bit of time as well because he went off at turn one. So I think the order roughly works out anyway. And as you said, being in P2 is better than being in P1 at Brazil during race start, or during a restart. So yeah, I think that maybe ultimately it works out to be strategically better, but I think it's just worked out rather well for both of them. So Swagger is back now, so he will lead the safety car restart. It should be in this lap since we have the grid reformed. Ultimately, Satvik Reddy's mistake on lap 1 doesn't affect him too badly because of the safety car. So he does end up at the back of the grid, but he is on the back of the grid rather than being 40 seconds behind. Same for Parth, who also got involved in a little bit of a tangle with the Haas driver. So the grid now will get ready for the safety car restart. We should see the prompt come up as we go through the final few corners, as we come through Junkao, which is the final corner leading onto the straight. We should see the safety car peel away from the pack, and we should see Swagger slowing down and start to bunch up the pack as he gets ready to go. I mean, if you want to put on a show, you would go as soon as you go around the final corner, but ultimately you can't overtake anyone until you get to the start-finish line. So if it was me in Swagger's position, I would leave it as late as possible. Just go at the start line. That way you don't give drivers any opportunity to sneak down the inside. So you control the pace, you control the pack, so it should be you making that decision.
Yep, I surely agree on this from you itself, because you just need to reduce the time that the driver behind gets to overtake you. And as we see, Swagger is already going, and it's a much better restart, but Lean Zipper is under pressure from his teammate E-Dog. And I'm not sure if there's any team orders between them, but it looked like there were, because E-Dog just let it by. Did I see some incident there?
No incident, but there was an alpha skating across the track and Satvik Reddy is DNF? What? When did that happen?
I am not pretty sure what happened, but he directly went into the pit after the restart.
He's retired in the pits. I think it's just at the end of the race there for Satvik Reddy. I thought he might have made contact with someone, but no, he's retired in the pits and he has left the session. So unfortunate for him, but that's the end of the race for him. The race will go on because he retired in the pits, so no safety car or anything. So we continue. There was an alpha drifting across the grass. It might have been Wolf Imperia. Uh, I could be wrong about that, but just got a little bit of grass going through turn 2 and just lost the car a little bit, but managed to hold it. It wasn't a full spin. That's not an influence. Battling it out with Mohan. MR9 as Mohan loses the rear end of the car. Can he hold it? No, unfortunately he doesn't. It's a semi-spin. It's not a full spin, but he has lost about 10 seconds there. Up ahead, Lane Zipper is right on the back of Swagger Turbo. He did get a good restart, but his opening lap after the safety car has not been great. Lane Zipper's managed to keep up almost to within a tenth of Swagger Turbo, and he doesn't get an optimum line through turn 1 as well, all over the inside curve going through turn 2. There's a little bit of a tap there, it seems like, from Lane Zipper. Hopefully he hasn't picked up any damage. Swagger covering off the inside well, defended in a difficult position for him where he compromised himself, but he manages to hold on to P1. That is AKQ challenging. It seemed like it was his teammate, but no, that is an Alfa Romeo. Wolf Imperia having to defend around the outside through the Max Lewis corner as they come to the end of Sector 1. Not really going to be many overtaking opportunities. Now he just has to sit tight and hopefully make it stay as close to him as possible until the back straight.
Yep, that mistake from Swagger Turbo, I should say, just helped him to keep Lean Zipper behind, because of that mistake, Lean Zipper had to brake a bit to avoid any contact with Swagger Turbo. But as of now, Lean Zipper, the Williams are in a really lovely position today, and they might even get 1-2 if they play it perfectly. Though E-Dog is under pressure from Billy Butcher, but they really have to play the team game to carry each other along and, get that fight to Swagger Turbo. So I'm really hoping for it like they do, and we get to see maybe a Williams 1-2, which I know you would like a lot. So yeah, let's see what's gonna happen as we see Lean Zipper is trying to put pressure on Swagger Turbo. But again, without DRS, it might be slightly difficult to overtake. But nope, Lean Zipper is just going for it with full use of his battery, down to 30%. Will he get the move stick around the outside? Swagger Turbo tries to push him wide, pushes a bit more wide, and keeps the position. What do you say about that, Itzel? Was it legal, or was it legal but not ethical? What should I say that?
It wasn't the greatest of camera angles, so I'll give Swagger the benefit of the doubt. What is that Alpha doing there? You can't turn in while two cars are side by side, my friend. But a little bit of contact there between Wolf Imperia, and unfortunately AKQ comes off worse off as a result. But yeah, Swagger, I feel like I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. The camera angle wasn't the most complimentary, but I feel like he did the best that he could. He left Lean Zipper space on the outside. Ultimately, he hasn't lost too much time as a result of that. So I noticed that he wasn't dumping ERS on this pit straight. He was just using the slipstream to catch up, and then when he goes past turn 2, he then activates that bit of ERS just to keep him close to Swagger. That is Lean Zipper getting way too close to the grass again. I've noticed for the past few laps that he was getting way too close to that grass on the outside. It is like ice out there, my friend. You cannot be risking that, especially in the wet. And that is unfortunately down to P5 for him. That's his teammate E-Dog trying to make a move or trying to defend from Billy Butcher. Is that Swagger Turbo up ahead, returning from Narnia? That is interesting track limits usage there by the Mercedes driver. He was just returning back from waving to the crowd, it seemed like, because he was so far off the track. Mistake there from Swagger Turbo. Luckily, he wasn't punished for it because of that mistake from Lean Zipper earlier in the lap.
Yep, as of now, we are running on board with Lean Zipper, and yep, there's some mistake obviously, and I think drivers are just overestimating the grip present in the wet conditions, because you really don't want to be pushing a lot in these conditions because the track is very slippery. Though they are inter conditions, but still not that grippier. Obviously, as we see, I really don't want to say, but it looks like I just jinxed the Williams right now, because seeing them running 2-3 earlier, now 4-5, no one would love to see that. I'm sorry, it's to you as well.
I wouldn't write them off so soon. It does look like Lean Zipper has got the pace. He's managed to catch up with the pack very quickly, and they've gone from fighting for P1 and P2 to fighting against each other, the Williams. So not ideal for them. They've also lost position to Billy Butcher. So it's not ideal, but it's a long race. For only a quarter of the way in, there's still nearly 27 laps left to go. So So there'll be a lot of time for the Williams boys to recover. They have a lot of time ahead of them. They just have to play their cards right and drive patiently and as we see this is E-Dog following his teammate through. There's a bit of team orders there, so he's let his teammate through. Leansipper does seem to be carrying more pace right now, so it might be a wise decision in the long run. He's closing in on Ritesh at a few tenths. It was 1.6 at the beginning of this lap. It's 1.4, 1.3 now. I'm seeing Leansipper getting awfully close to that grass on the outside every single lap. He has to stop doing that, otherwise he risks having the same incident that happened. And that is interesting usage of track limits there by Billy Butcher as he tries to keep up close with Swagger Turbo. That mistake that Swagger made earlier might cost him his P1 right now as he's fighting for the lead. Again, not a great line through turn 1, but ultimately managed to keep position. This is the McLaren of, it seems like, not an influencer falling down the grid. He was fighting for position, but he's lost out there massively. Might have caught the inside curve of turn 1 a little too much there and lost position. He's lost positions to Vinay and Wolf Imperia there. Unfortunate for him, but he's right on their tail though, so it's good. That battle isn't quite over yet. Not down there, lad, not down there. You have to leave the space on the inside, which Vinay does. Yeah, they both get through there in one piece, and they're still fighting. He's still trying to poke his nose through as they come through Sector 2. This is not really a section which is renowned for battling, and that's Vinay losing the car on the inside. Not sure if there was contact between him and not an influencer. It did seem like there was enough of a gap between them. I think Vinay might have just lost it on the inside curve, little too much throttle, and it is, as I mentioned earlier, like ice on those curves. So you've got to be careful when you're getting on throttle on corner exit. This is Billy Butcher now attacking Swagger Turbo. We were looking at one McLaren battling an Alpine. Now we're looking at a McLaren battling a Mercedes as they come down to turn 1. Billy Butcher going for a more aggressive strategy, unlike Leansipper, trying to attack him through turn 1. Swagger makes a mistake, has to take a conservative defensive line through turns 1 and 2. But the way that the corner is, the way that the Senna S is laid out, it allows you to defend through turn 2. You have to rely on DRS ultimately to get past. It's going to be a difficult challenge for the drivers behind to get past Swagger. He's been doing a great job defending so far. This is Wolf Imperia and Parthajan having a fight. Actually, no, Wolf Imperia, not an influencer, having a fight, and the McLaren driver moves up to P6 now. Battles popping off all over the place. Generally in F1, the belief is that when it is a wet race, because of a lack of DRS, that battles do reduce in frequency. But this server definitely seems to be disproving that, because we're seeing action all over the place. Although that might be because drivers are making tiny mistakes here and there. That is Swagger Turbo making a mistake. Billy Butcher trying to go down the inside of the final corner. He has the opportunity. Swagger leaves the space. They're both side by side. This is not going to be ideal for Swagger. The outside line is not too fast through here, but he hangs it around the outside. Billy Butcher has to leave space. He doesn't. Swagger destroys the DRS foam board on the outside. He still has a good slipstream, and he has a lot of energy abundantly available as well. Billy Butcher does not. He spent all of his battery trying to catch up Swagger, and ultimately Swagger gets through and the position is his once again. And now Billy Butcher has more work to do as he's defending from Ritesh. They both make contact. Oh no, and Ritesh has lost his wing, and probably probably Billy Butcher has lost a part of his wing as well. It's unfortunate for him. It was both of them involved in a battle, and it was just Ritesh trying to make the most of the situation and has not worked out for him. It is another safety car because of the wing damage and the debris on track. The safety car comes out once again, and Wolf Imperia picks up a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags. That's a new one. I haven't really seen that penalty before. 5-second dished out like that. But yeah, unfortunate for Billy Butcher and Ritesh, but ultimately Swagger comes out of that unscathed. He managed to avoid that whole incident with a great move down into turn 1. Swagger definitely knows his way around this track, so I expected him to put up a good fight, and he is doing so. And because of all that carnage, it also allows Leansipper to get back up into P2. And with that, Tanish is back. We are another safety car, Tanish. Look, more destruction and carnage.
Probably, I think I was just waiting for this thing to happen. Might be the reason to leave and just wait for another carnage to happen and then talk about it. What happened there and how did another safety car came. Who else made the mistake to cause another safety car? As I see Wolf Imperium with a 10-second penalty. What did he do there?
He picked up 5 seconds for ignoring yellow flags, and he probably picked up a 5 seconds for speeding into the pit lane. So not ideal for him. So that's 10 seconds. It's added on to his penalty tally. But one thing I have noticed though is that everybody's pitted for a new set of enters. Can you not use one set of enters for an entire race length? I'm pretty sure you don't have to change your tires when you're on wet compounds. So ideally, you should be able to make it last, right? No?
I think you can make them last. It's not an issue, but still, being the safety car there, you should just take the advantage of it. And obviously, if or everyone is pitting, so you can just get those fresh rubber and have that consistency in the pace. Because with the time, the tires do wear. Though you might carry them to the end of the race, but they do wear, and there will be some pace difference. So just to avoid that, maybe the drivers are just pitting and getting that fresh rubber in. And obviously, being the driver number less in the today's race, it's only 12 drivers, so overtaking will also not be a big fact today. So I think it's just for the drivers. I think it's a good idea to pit, and even if you lose a couple of positions, still you can gain them back.
Yep, absolutely. I've just been told by I've just been told in my ear that Mohan hasn't pitted. So he hasn't pitted. He's still on his old tires. He hasn't pitted for a new set. But as you said, it's under safety car, so you don't really lose any time for pitting. So this might be an interesting strategy call from Mohan. If he can get a really good safety car restart, there might be a chance of him keeping that P1 for as long as possible, at least until the next safety car window. If he opens up enough of a gap, he could pit and come out in the top 4, top 5. But he has to really start pushing now if he wants to make this strategy work. What are your thoughts, Tanish? Pitting now, not pitting now? Has he made a mistake, or might this be a must-win?
I would say if Parthuj and Mohan are playing the team game, it can work out to be the masterclass, because what they get doing is they're splitting the strategies with Parthuj pitting and getting that fresh rubber in and trying to gain as much positions as he can, while Mohan, who might just try to hold up the drivers behind and wait for another safety car to pit, and which obviously will play into his hand because many will pit again. I think they will have another set of enters if I'm not wrong. If yes, they'll surely pit again, and then it would just play in the hands of Mohan. So this was the best game for Mohan, I should say, not pitting as of now, trying to continue as much as you can, because the chances of another safety car are still a bit higher. I think it's possible that it will just work as a masterclass for this team.
Time will tell though for Mohan. Also interesting to note that once again, someone gets caught out just before a major safety car incident, and this time their incident is what caused the safety car, so they haven't lost too much time as a result of it. So Ritesh hasn't really lost a whole chunk of time by having to change his wing during the pit stop because it was a safety car. He's on the back of the grid, and everybody is now separated by 2 or 3 seconds under safety car, so it isn't really a problem. Has Mohan gone? He has gone. We've gone green. Swagger immediately dumping some DRS to get up close. He can't overtake before the line there, but not an influencer. Just managed to get the position on E-Dog as he crossed the line. That is a good safety car restart for the McLaren driver as he moves up a position from I believe it was P6, but because of the incident between Ritesh and Billy Butcher earlier, he's managed to move up another position, 2 positions in fact, up to P4, and E-Dog been caught out on the safety car restart there. That is Swagger Turbo all over the back of Mohan. This might be the end of that amazing strategy call from him, because Wolf Imperium has retired in the background. It seems like his car is still moving on track though, so not quite sure what's happening there. There won't be a safety car though. We'll continue racing because the pack hasn't quite gotten to that part of the track yet. His car pulls off to the left hand side. I feel like he might have just picked up some wing damage of some sort in that skirmish. In that safety car restart, that is Billy Butcher getting all kinds of sideways on exit of that corner there, and now he has to defend from Parthajan, tries to make the move around the outside part, getting all kinds of caught up on that inside curve coming through the final corner, and now they're side by side onto the final straight. This is where we saw a few cars making contact on the last lap. Billy Butcher's role has been reversed. Last time he was on the inside trying to push Swagger off the track, and now he gets pushed a little off the track, but he manages to keep side by side there with Parthajan for as long as possible. That's the two Ferraris battling in the background there. They swap positions. That's Billy Butcher dropping back. Not quite sure what happened there. There seems to be some kind of contact between him and Parthajan. That is Lean Sipper trying to go down the... something's happened. We missed the lead change because Mohan has dropped to P3. Swagger and Lean Sipper have gotten past, and now not an influencer as well. Mohan losing quite a lot of positions here. Now E-Dog is all over the back of the Red Bull driver. This strategy call has not been ideal for him. He's not managed to hold on to the P1 as long as possible. Your thoughts, Danish?
Well, I really don't have any comments on this, but yep, it's not working in his favor as of now until we see another safety car, of course. But yep, I think he did play his part. Obviously, on those used set of tires, it was pretty difficult to defend from the drivers like Swagger Turbo, Lean Sipper, who are very fast. But yep, I think it just helped Mamu as well to keep the gap close to the drivers in front, with Mohan trying to keep the drivers behind him a bit more longer there. So yep, I'm not sure how it will work out, but it might be for them to play on now. But yep, as of now, it's Lean Sipper who is involved in a battle with Swagger Turbo. He's keeping the pressure on. There's just position changes throughout the race. So yep, he's trying to go down the inside, but Swagger Turbo is using his battery to defend from Lean Sipper, who is around 20% down as compared to Swagger. E-Dog involved in a battle with Mohan, who is on 16 lap old inters. Might find it difficult to defend from E-Dog. So yep, he'll soon fall down to his teammate once E-Dog manages to pass him, and then I will think it will be a team game to let Parthajan by and try to keep the pressure on the drivers in front. What you say on this?
Definitely, the strategy hasn't been optimal for Mohan so far, but again, we're only halfway through the race, so there's a lot left to play for. And that is, oh no, that is E-Dog getting tapped by someone from behind. There's a car on the outside there as they go through that corner. It was almost 4 wide for a second. They're all just scrabbling over each other, trying to get position. They're all making little tiny mistakes. There's a 5-car battle here for P5, it seems like. This is E-Dog, Billy Butcher, Parthajan, Ritesh and Sandeep all fighting. And Vinay at the back of that train as well, not too far off. All fighting for position right now. The smallest mistake can get you all the way can drop you to the back of the grid, the way it seems like. Super competitive right now. Everyone jostling for position. That's a Ferrari going down the inside. That's Sandeep Maridu and Ritesh fighting for position. That's Vinay coming down the inside of Ritesh, it seems like, for a moment there, but didn't make the move stick. Hopefully he hasn't got wing damage from that, but racing is popping off everywhere. Lean Sipper makes a move for the lead. It's been 10-15 laps in the making now. Swagger finally concedes position. I think he made a little mistake coming through turn 4, and as a result, Lean Sipper just capitalizes on the mistake and goes through. Finally, Williams in the lead, and he'll be definitely counting his chickens because he wasn't in this position a few laps earlier. Has to now reduce the number of mistakes he's going to make, as he helped out a little bit by not an influencer charging through the field, putting pressure now on Swagger Turbo. This will give Lean Sipper a little bit of an opportunity to breathe.
The battle is really on for the top 3 guys because they're just trading places throughout the laps, and now not an influencer is involved in the battle too, who started too far behind us, now charging on the drivers in P2 and P1. So a really great race till now from not an influencer. But yeah, talking about Vinay, I think it's just going from bad to worse for him after so good quali and now just being running in the last, excluding the drivers who DNF'd. So I'm not really sure what happened to him, or it was just the setup which was not very comfortable with the rain conditions. But yeah, it's just not working for him. As of now, not an influencer, who's just trying to get a look down the inside of Swagger Turbo, decides not to overtake. But going purple sector 1, I'm not sure if it's just the slipstream that is helping him or the pace difference is so high between the drivers. But yep, the battle and is on for the, I should say, not the podium places, but the P1. And anything can happen. I won't be surprised if we see not an influencer winning the race today after starting P12. As of now, we
Seems-
see. Yep.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the field is just settled down a little bit. Everybody is just kind of taking a breather. They're like, we've been battling for a lot. Never mind. There's a battle right here between AKQ and Mohan. It seems like moving up into trying to make a move for P4, but hasn't quite worked out for him. He's still fighting though. They have an opportunity. And he still has a chance down into turn 1. Depends on how well Mohan's able to defend. But unfortunately AKQ is out of ERS completely, so he's not able to keep up with Mohan on the straight line and has to contend with P5 for now. But if he manages to recharge his battery, maybe another opportunity in a few laps time. You can see 5 cars battling for P4 in the back. It's all to play for right now, and the smallest mistake can get you all the way to the back of the grid, and others will benefit from your downfall as Billy Butcher is attacking E-Dog now. It seemed like the battle ahead was just brewing, and now battle is brewing behind Tanish.
Yep, I would just say the battle is on the top as well as on behind. Like, yeah, Billy Butcher is still keeping that pressure on E-Dog. While not Influencer managed to get the move on Swagger Turbo, but I still think he got that 3-second penalty. So he really have to work his way through, get the 3-second gap from Lean Zipper. Meanwhile, AKQ gets a move done on Mohan. I'm not sure if he was already ahead or it was Mohan ahead of him. But yep, the battle is going between these two guys. Pretty similar pace, I should say. Just that the Mohan is on U set of rubber. And using his battery to get that move back and the place back from him, touches him from the behind and loses the car.
Oh, no.
I'm not pretty sure what happened there. That was pretty unfortunate because I don't think AKQ braked there. It was decent gap, just that Mohan overestimated the gap or time he has to move away from the slipstream of AKQ. Fails to do it and gets damage. What's your say on that?
Yeah, unfortunate there. And really, Brazil always throws up a safety car. Oh, this isn't a... Is it a safety car? Yeah, it's a safety car. I see the massive Aston in the middle of all the F1 cars there. So it's definitely a safety car. And we always have this thing at Brazil where we always have a huge number of safety cars. We always seem to have some kind of drama, some kind of battle. Not quite sure what happened with Mohan there. Maybe you have a little bit more clarity. Did he make contact with anyone, or did he just lose the car on his own?
I think he made contact with AKQ, just punting him from behind on the straight, which is very unusual. It looked like he just didn't see that there's less time to move away from the slipstream of AKQ. Just stayed there for too long, didn't have enough time to move away, and in the end ended up punting him and losing his car and crashing with the wall, terminal damage and race over. So yep, it was like the safety car was to benefit Mohan in his strategy, but in the end it was Mohan who was causing that safety car. So pretty unfortunate, I should say.
Yeah, it is. But tell you what, though, this, assuming the safety car had been caused by someone else, Mohan would have been in a really strong position to benefit from that. Could have pitted for a new set of tires, as Billy Butcher is doing. So I feel like he may have picked up wing damage. That's why he's coming in. Everybody made a stop apart from Mohan, as far as I know. So new set of tires as well, because F1 doesn't allow you to just change your front wing. You also have to change tires. And no new front wing for Billy Butcher. I think it was just tires, which is, if you can just bring up the pit stop information. I'm pretty sure this is his second stop. Yeah, not quite sure why he's done that. Everybody's on the one stop right now. You can definitely make it to the end on the one stop as well. I don't see the need. Oh, as Pathogen using the walls of the pit lane as a nice way to turn there. As Mohan has left the session. 4 retirements already in a wet Brazil. There's definitely something that we expected. But Lean Zipper right now is in a good position. Swagger is also in a good position to benefit from a battle between Not an Influencer and Lean Zipper. They definitely both have, if you were to ask me, they are on equal pace, and they seem to be the guys with the strongest pace in the lobby right now. So if they start battling, could something happen? Swagger might benefit from one of their downfall. I don't want to say anything, don't want to commentators curse them. That's the last thing I'd want to do, but it's something to keep an eye on.
Yep. And I'm not sure why Billy Butcher and Pathogen are going on such an aggressive strategy as we see safety car is coming in this lap. It was pretty late call. But yep, only 4 drivers so close. I don't know whether the rest of the field. But yep, these 4 are away and the battle is on. As we see this cluster of two teams forming there. It's midfield and the top
Oh
drivers.
no!
Nothing to say there. I don't know what happened. It was just very aggressive from the drivers.
Oh
Really don't know what
no!
happened.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Cars are everywhere. Cars are everywhere. There are cars everywhere. Ritesh has retired off to the left just after turn 1. And it seemed like Dog and Sandeep made contact. Ritesh has retired. And since we are just off a safety car restart, there won't be another safety car. So we won't really be able to benefit much from another safety car and stay at the back of the grid. But yeah, really weird safety car restart. I think you'd agree with me, Tanish, because there was quite a large gap between the two sort of groups of cars. And I think it was just very last minute. They weren't expecting it to be this lap, maybe. But the grid had reformed. So the safety car people just decided, you know what, we're going to send it and hope for the best. So yeah, unfortunate. And there seems to be a huge gap now between the guys at the front and the guys at the back. This field has unnecessarily distanced himself because of a really bad safety car restart. So can't really blame anyone for that, but the game, unfortunately, it's kind of, for lack of a better word, it's screwed over everyone's face. So they have a few laps. They have 12 laps to make up for that. So it's fine. There's time still. And Billy Butcher has gotten a really good safety car restart because he's jumped from almost last to P4 on fresh inters. So this could be a really, really good result for him if he plays those cards right. That is E-Dog getting all over that inside curb at turn 1. At turn 2. And they're getting a really good exit on Sandeep Marido as well. He's going to dump that DRS. He's got an abundance of it, 60% as he goes down to turn 4. Gets the car on the inside. Doesn't get a great exit though that allows Sandeep to fight through turn 5. And they'll be side by side going through turn 6. No, Sandeep gets the move done back on E-Dog after the poor exit through the previous corner. So a short-lived battle, but one that will definitely crop its head up again later on in the race.
Yep, I would say that it was clean battle at least, because seeing the drivers just crashing today in these conditions, finding it difficult to go wheel to wheel, I was just happy that there was no crash. Though there were position changes, battle, but no crash, so I'm happy. As we see, Lean Sipper gets another 3-second penalty. I'm not sure if it's the first one for him, it's another one, but yep. Right now, Lean Sipper, who is trying to get a move done on Vinay, as Not Influencer puts up the fastest lap of the race, which is a 1:15.3. So not an influencer, almost with a 3-second gap over Swagger Turbo, starting from P12. What are your comments on his race? I think he's doing really great till now. Obviously no jinx from us, but I would surely love you to commentate or just give a few comments on his race till now.
It's been a bit of a mixed bag for him, but ultimately he's got a little bit of time to recover, so it's all to play for. The way the grid's been moving around this race, could see anyone finishing P1 right now. Although, to be honest, Not an Influencer has kind of checked out a little bit. The first time that we've seen someone in P1 open up that big a gap, it's always been Swagger or Lean Sipper or someone else, or Mohan holding a 1 second, 5/10th gap, something like that. But Not an Influencer after starting P12 has officially checked out, 3.4 seconds clear. And it doesn't help the fact that that Swagger is in a battle and is being pressured right now by AKQ as well. He has got a penalty, but he has got enough time to open a gap, assuming he gets past Swagger Turbo as well. So yeah, a lot to play for. The podium positions are definitely up for grabs here, but assuming Not an Influencer keeps up the pace, he'll be able to keep that P1 as AKQ moves to the outside, opens up the line as much as possible. Swagger, on the contrary, trying to defend the inside, has to tighten his line, take a compromised line, and that is AKQ just barging his way through there. What's he doing? He's just straight up just GTA'd him out of the way. That's some Forza Horizon driving right there. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and assume it's desync or some kind of issue with the lobby, but that was really not the best driving there from the Ferrari driver. Not quite sure what happened there, and because of that, it's allowed Billy Butcher to slip through to P2. So we might actually see both constructors and drivers championship being concluded tonight, because the way it looks, Not an Influencer should convincingly pick up the WDC, and if it remains a 1-2 until the end, it could be a WCC sweep as well in Brazil.
Yep, and another thing to note is that Parthogen, who is running without any penalties and only 1 second behind AKQ, is in a sweet spot for that podium places and might even end up P2 if they are not able to create that gap from him. So again, consistency is what matters in the race, and if he keeps it like this, he's really in a good spot to get that podium place from AKQ and Billy Butcher. So let's see what's gonna happen. But as of now, AKQ is trying to battle Billy Butcher, waiting for the move to get done. And I think he'll just wait for some time because he's pretty low on ERS, needs to charge up a bit because there is no DRS assistance in these conditions. Need the battery to get that extra power to overtake on the straight. Might recharge it till they reach the final straight after turn 12 and then fully use it to get the move done. What's your say?
Absolutely. The move is definitely on there, as you said, but yeah, it will require battery usage because of lack of DRS. We've seen a full wet race. We haven't seen any dry spells so far. Maybe could see one at the end. I do see the rain intensity reducing ever so slightly. I do feel like it has reduced since the beginning of the race. So maybe we might see 5 or 10 laps of dry racing at the end. But okay, we've just gone on board there, and the rain does look exactly the same. It did briefly look like it was clearing up, but it seems to be a wet race all the way through. So yeah, the ERS management is a massive factor. ERS definitely Brazil, not an easy track where you can recharge your battery. So yeah, these guys will have to keep an eye on it.
Yep.
Again.
And meanwhile, this battle is going on. I just have one question, or just your opinion. Like, can we do something to involve our audience as well in these races? Like, develop some prediction things where the drivers would just predict on who is putting the fastest lap in the race, or who might end up winning the race, who might be the top 3 drivers, and whosoever gets the maximum predictions, right? Just give them a cookie. What's your say on this?
Yeah. Yeah, we could give them a free subscription to IRC's premium services. Get them like first hand insight into whatever happens behind the scenes at IRC. But yeah, I mean, we can do something. We had the IRC bingo a few seasons ago where we had people in the server predicting what would happen in a race weekend across all the tiers. So we could implement something like that in the future.
Yep, we can just keep the questions consistent, just that they have to predict what drivers will be there. So yep, will be more fun to see who chooses which driver and what's gonna happen. So yep, if audience want this to happen, do let us know in the chat box so we can know. So yeah. And
Yeah,
right now,
exactly.
AKQ is still keeping the pressure on Billy Butcher. He's not gonna leave him easy. But battery percentage is still a bit lower for that overtake. He's still got 7 laps to overtake. I think he should wait behind, charge up his battery to 30-35% if it's possible, and then go for the move.
James in the chat says, give cookie now. You don't get a cookie without predicting anything, James. That's not how it works. Where's the spirit of the game there? You just want cookie for nothing, just for gratification? It doesn't work like that, my friend. You have to earn it. You have to make a prediction. Make a prediction on this race. Maybe we might give you a cookie later.
Yep, we would be happy to make a prediction that who will be top 3. So to the audience, your prediction will be predict the top 3 in the chat box so that we can see who gets the prediction right and might end up getting a cookie or even subscription to IRC premium services for a short duration, we can say.
Yeah, maybe. We get IRC's top tier content. They get it first before anyone else. Yeah, that's what we're planning. Yeah. It's on the card. Soon PM.
Yep.
With 7 laps left of racing, the field seems to spread itself out a bit. Damn. Vinay, 21 seconds behind Swagger, and everyone seems to have put a decent bit of gap. The only battle right now that I can really spot, and you'll definitely spot as well, Tanish, is the battle for 2. So we have AKQ and Billy Butcher within 5/10 of each other, and Parth is also not too far behind. So if these 2 guys get involved in a battle and there's a yellow flag, is that... Yeah, that's Sandeep Marido. I felt like for a moment that might have been AKQ, but he's coming through Sector 1 right now. So it's definitely not that Ferrari, it's his teammate. But yeah, I was just saying that if AKQ and Billy Butcher can get into a battle at some point, then we could see Parth closing that gap. It's already closing a little bit actually, but I feel like that's more because AKQ has made a mistake as he's full on sideways, has to go full lock to control that slide there as he gets onto the curb. But yeah, if he can keep the pressure on Billy Butcher and he makes a mistake and they get into a battle, that opens up the chance for Parth to get on the podium as well. That could be a good moment for the Red Bull.
Yep, and we are getting pretty similar predictions like we were discussing in the chat as well, with people predicting McLaren 1-3 with Norton Influence in P1 probably and Billy Butcher in P3. Meanwhile, Pathogen in P2. So it looked very like the probability of that happening is very high, and we might end up giving two people the cookie today.
I mean, both of them can't be right. One of them's predicted. Okay, no, both of them have predicted the same thing.
Yep, exactly.
You're right. I've just noticed they both predicted not an influencer win, and they both predicted Parth in P2, also known as Mamu, and Billy Butcher P3. So yeah, maybe if it works out, two people get cookies. You never know.
Yep. Or we can just reduce it to saying that the person who predicted earlier gets the cookie.
Or we can give each of them half the cookie.
That would be better. Just saves us some money as well.
or if you guys want to work out some kind of deal where only one of you gets the cookie, then obviously you guys can go ahead and do that. Because we don't do all that. We just give out cookies. You can fight amongst it yourselves. But AKQ has closed in a little bit on Billy Butcher, about a 10th and a half, and that delta seems to be constantly shifting. He's doing a good job so far, Billy Butcher, but you have to keep in mind that he's on fresh inters. So if anything, I would say that AKQ and Parth are doing a very good job keeping up with him, because they are on very, very old. Parth is also on new inters, but AKQ is on very old inters, 19 laps old as he crosses the line. So he's doing a very, very impressive job keeping up with the pace of the McLaren driver in P2. But not an influencer is pretty clear. He's in clear air and he's not got any pressure. He's got his teammate behind him, so it's really no stress for him. All he has to do is get to the line. If we can get a quick idea of the penalty situation, I'm pretty sure they've all got 1-3 second each. And yeah, it's not going to affect the standings too much. We might see Lean Sipper drop behind his teammate, but that's about it really. Sandeep Maridu has 6 seconds, but he's last, so he won't really gain or lose any positions as a result of that penalty. But AKQ putting the pressure, 4 laps remaining for him to hopefully either force a mistake out of Billy Butcher or to get up close and personal with his rear diffuser and basically say, hi, I've been here this whole time and it's time for me to make a move. And that, Parth will be rubbing his hands together as well if that happens, because the only way he's going to get a podium is if those two lose time. And the way they're going to lose time is either if they make a mistake or they have a battle. So he's definitely hoping and praying for the same thing as us, because we're hoping for entertainment. He's hoping for a podium.
Yep. And meanwhile, you were giving such a lovely commentary on the battle. I was thinking another question for the viewers with the prediction, because there's a tie in the predictions of 1 to 3 positions. So another prediction can be, what will be the difference between the leader and the driver in P2 when they cross the start-finish line at the end of the race? I think that would be a decent prediction to help us know who gets most closer to getting the right predictions.
Maybe they can rock, paper, scissors in the chat. Maybe. So maybe a third person can mediate. You guys can decide who gets the cookie, since you both made the same prediction. I can tell you what, though, this battle is heating up. AKQ now he was only 3/10 of Billy Butcher there, but he's not gotten a great exit out of that corner, and the gap is up to 6/10. Tell you what, Billy Butcher does seem to be struggling a little bit. The McLaren driver does seem to be having a few oversteer moments here and there. More of a testament to AKQ's ability to extract the most out of these worn inter tires. He's doing pretty well. He's still kept within DRS, so that battle could happen in the next few laps. We're hoping and praying, fingers crossed, that we get some more side-by-side action, because right now we're a little thirsty for some action, if you will.
Yep, it's only 3 laps remaining in the race, and the battle which we are seeing is between AKQ and Billy Butcher. Apart from these two, I think the grid is pretty much settled down with a very big gap between the drivers. And right now, Pathogen is just waiting for these two to get involved in a battle and slow each other down so that he can get that P2 easy. As of now, he's, I think, 2.2 seconds behind Billy Butcher. So if he just needs to manage his pace and keep this delta the same and not let it improve, because that's his only chance to get P2 from Billy Butcher and push maybe AKQ out of the podium places.
Yep, absolutely. And with 2 laps to go, he doesn't have a lot of time, but maybe something is brewing. Maybe something is brewing. There definitely is an opportunity. Parth has dropped back a little bit, 1.8 seconds now. So even if these guys get into a battle, he has to really get a move on. Parth, if he's dropped out of the 2 second range actually, briefly moves back into it. But I think they're all on similar levels of ERS as well. Billy Butcher on 20%, AKQ is on 5%, even less, and Parth is on 0. Okay, they are not on similar levels of ERS at all. I take that back. They're on very different levels of ERS. Billy Butcher is actually in a really good position, come to think of it. He's got the ERS to defend. AKQ doesn't have as much ERS to attack, but he's got the pace, I think, even on these worn tires. And Parth, well, I wish him the best, because it's going to take a lot for him now to get back into that podium fight, because he hasn't got the ERS. He doesn't seem to be on their pace as well, maybe 1 or 2 tenths off. And it's going to take something really crazy now. Oh, wait. I've just realized something. Oh my god. We're both a little stupid, Tanish.
Yep.
I just
Did we miss something?
Parth does not have a penalty.
Yep, exactly. That's why he's on for a P2 today. That's what we are discussing if you missed it.
Oh, well, okay. Then I'm stupid. Okay, my bad. I'm very tired today. So yeah, I've just missed the fact that he's on for a podium regardless of what happens. Here I am thinking he's dumping ERS to try and keep within 3 seconds. Smart driving there. So Billy Butcher is currently 8 tenths, 9 tenths ahead of AKQ, and Parth is 2 seconds behind them. So roughly, give or take, he's 3 seconds. He's within 3 seconds of Billy Butcher as well. So we're on the last lap. All he has to do is full send this lap. This lap has to be perfect from Mamo if he's going to get that podium, and he's going to get a P. He's going to get a P3 anyway. But is he going to get a P2? We see not an influencer, 2.2 seconds clear. He's lost a bit of time, but ultimately it won't really matter to him. Since all 3 of the top 3 have 3 seconds of penalties, they're not really going to, the order isn't going to change a whole lot for not an influencer. He's going to remain P1. But tell you what, had Parth been a little closer, he might have actually been on for a win today. If he had been within 3 or 4 tenths of AKQ, this might have actually been it might have actually been a move for the win there. So unfortunate for Parth. Settling for podium is not a bad thing. Settling is a harsh word to use there, because a podium is definitely a good result for him, but it could have been so much more for him. As we come around the final corner, all of the first top 4 cars are separated by just over 4 seconds. We see not an influencer, a great drive, an amazing drive, a championship elect. As he crosses the line, it is pretty much all but sealed for him in the WDC. Pretty much get the fireworks out right now, but we'll let the stewards do their math. We'll let them add up all the points, and we'll confirm for you whether it's next weekend if he is the champion. Billy Butcher as well crosses the line. Parth gets P3 in the end. Unfortunate. He could have gotten P2 had it been a few more tenths in it, but he gets P3. There is a battle right now between Swagger Turbo and Vinay for the final points position. Oh, sorry, now the final for P7. As he comes round the final few corners, these are all flat. He won't have enough legs to overtake him, so it will be P8. Swagger P7 for Vinay. But what a race, what an entertaining race this has been, Tanish. Absolutely breathless throughout. We've seen that top 3 swap around so many times, and anybody could have won this race had they not made mistakes, or had they just kept the pace consistent. And I think that's basically why not an influencer won it, because he's kept consistent, stayed out of trouble, not got into too many battles, and he's got to P1. So congrats to him, and congrats to Parth on 3, I believe, and Billy Butcher.
Yep, I mean, I'm happy that we didn't jinx not an influencer at the start when I was saying that he can try a last to first challenge. He did manage to do it, and yep, great result from him, great drive from him in these conditions, because again, you don't end up getting opportunities from the driver and getting involved in incidents in the rain, but again, it's difficult for you as well to keep your car on track, which he did, and yep, he is P1. So Etzel, would you like to go through the results of the race?
Yep, absolutely. After a good drive, a solid drive from Not an Influence, as I mentioned, a champions elect drive from him from P12 up to P1, just stayed out of trouble. Ultimately, that is league racing in a nutshell. You stay out of trouble, you don't get involved in any of the risky battles. You stick to your strategy, you be confident in your driving, and you'll get results. And that is basically a summary of Not an Influencer season as well, as he picks up another win and possibly also the WDC tonight. Great drive from him. Great triumph from his teammate as well. Billy Butcher got involved in a few incidents, but with how volatile the grid was and how much it was moving around, it's definitely a good result for him to get a P1-2 for McLaren in the race today. Pathogen with a great podium as well. Started P7, didn't really impose himself at any point, but you don't really need to. As long as you stay out of trouble and maintain your pace, maintain your composure, you can get a result. And he gets P3. AKQ P4, Lean Sipper P5, E-Dog P6, Vinay P7, Swagger P8, Samdeep Naridu P9, and the other drivers unfortunately did not finish. The Williams boys definitely will feel hard done by that result because they were P1 and 4 at the start.
Yep, that was pretty interesting race, and the best part is, Not Influencer has wrapped up the championship, and there's no one who can displace him now. So kudos to him as well. We have a driver champion in Tier 3 for this season.
Congrats, with one race left to spare. We'll talk to Not an Influencer in a second and get his thoughts on the championship winning moment. But before that, let's go from reducing order first. We'll go to P3 to P1. We'll leave a little bit of suspense for last. So we'll go first and talk to Parth Ojen. Are you here with us, Parth?
Yep.
Hello, good evening. How was that race from your perspective? A P3, good result for you?
Yeah, pretty decent result. Back-to-back podiums. Didn't expect it this season. Yeah, it happened miraculously. Just because AKQ had a 3-second penalty. So
Yeah, me and Tanish were just discussing in the final few laps. I actually missed the fact that you didn't have any penalties and all. So I was expecting you to get involved in a battle for the podium, but you just had to stay there. And I was just talking right at the final lap that had it been a few more tenths, you could have probably gotten P2 as well. But P3 will do. P3 will do. And there's always more opportunities in the future to get those wins. So a good race from you. Well managed.
thank you so much. And congratulations to Not an Influencer for the championship. Amazing pace he's got.
Absolutely, we'll have enough time to shower him with compliments in just a minute's time. But we'll move now to I believe it was Billy Butcher who came P2. So we'll talk to him. So are you here, Billy?
Yes, I am here.
You got a different name in Discord, so I was a little confused. All right. So good race from you as well. There were a few hairy moments as well. You were involved in a few battles, involved in a few incidents,
Yes.
not entirely smooth sailing, but ultimately a P2, a 1-2 for your team. So how was that?
Yes, first of all, in the quali, I somehow messed up my last lap on last hot lap. I was not able to complete that, and I ended up P7 or P8. That was unfortunate and fortunate also, being rain in the race. So the start was really good. I got up to P4 in just the single lap. But the fights were quite messed up, man. People were going right and left, and the people were losing traction during the fights. Also, expecting same traction while going side by side. So it was quite messy, and I had to push like mad in the end to somehow survive from pathogen. And because we both pitted, we were the only one who pitted. I thought I'm the smartest that I'm pitting, but Parthu, he came right behind me and pitted. But it was all in all a brilliant race, and congratulations to Not an Influencer. Went for McLaren, I think, and both in constructor and I think as a driver, he also won the championship. So yeah, kudos to him.
Yep, so that was really great from you, and congratulations on that podium today.
Thank you so much.
And before moving on to Not an Influencer, I would just like to add one more thing which I'm seeing in the chat. Red Bull boys from different tiers in IRC season are just congratulating Mamu for an amazing job in the race today. So congratulations to you, Mamu, from their end. You did great for them.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. And now moving on to a race winner as well as our World Drivers Championship, driving in the team of World Constructor Championship in Tier 3. and the team by
Like to add
Billy
one more
Butcher,
thing
who is
which I'm
such an
seeing in
sin
the
as well
chat.
as not an
Red Bull boys
influencer.
from
So,
different
not
tiers
an
in IRC
influencer.
season
First
are
of all,
just
congratulations
congratulating
to
Mamu
you
for an
on
amazing
this
job in the
feat.
race today. So congratulations
Thank
to you,
you.
Mamu,
Thank you
from
so
their
much,
end.
guys.
You did great for them.
So, the first question
Really,
is,
thank you,
was
thank
it
you.
intentional from you
Yep.
to start
And
from
now
behind and
moving
try
on
to
to
get the
our
moves
race
done and
winner
finish
as
on
well
top,
as
or
our
was it just you were messing up the quali lap?
It was intentional. I mean, I wanted to start further back, probably at the end. I think by turn one, I was at the end. Yeah, but yeah, that was like totally intentional. I was missing Destroyer and I wanted to have some fights. And I sort of knew that I have a good lead in the championship standing. So if anything goes wrong, I'll handle in quota. So that was intentional. But yes, fun race I had with the grid.
Yep, with Destroyer Drag not doing the race, I think it was pretty straightforward, a kind of a bit easier for you to get that championship and not push a lot, I should say. You must be just enjoying this race, not pushing a lot, not stressing out a lot, and just enjoying those overtakes in these conditions. What's your comment on that?
I mean, the fights were good. Some of the fights were really respectful among us drivers, but few of them got messy too. That is probably because we all are giving our best here for positions and we push our best, but it did get a little dirty here and there. But I totally overall enjoyed the entire stint on both the tires. I wish it would have been drier. I was not so confident in the wet, but eventually it turned out great. So it was really great.
Yep, that was great showing from you, and I really hope that we can get a donut session for you after the final race because of that championship. I hope we can make it happen. So yeah,
I would love that. Yeah.
yep, for sure. And once again, congratulations on this amazing result and achievement. And I hope to see you battling some fast guys in the next season, maybe tier 2 or even tier 1, depends on how much you improve. But yep, all the best to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Congrats to Pathogen and Billy Butcher for the podium. Amazing pace from them too. And thank you everyone for the amazing fights.
Yep. And yep, now we are done with the podium interviews. It's time to wrap up the stream. I really thank everyone to join in for the stream, and it's time to end the stream. We are not going anywhere. We'll soon catch you tomorrow at 2:30 in the evening, in the afternoon. Do join us for the Tier 2 IRC Esports Season 10 race. And yep, it's end for us. Good night. Bye bye.